Hello and welcome back to India Post Live, India's first online live news interactive conversation web portal. I'm Ms. Yauma Bhutia. Well, the state of Jammu and Kashmir has seen the worst floods in its recent history. The flood has so far claimed more than 200 lives and displaced tens of thousands of people. Let's take a look at some of these pictures which our viewers have sent us from the valley. Let's take a look. Well, that's the aerial view of the Srinagar city. Another aerial view of the entire Srinagar. Now we have a video of, you can see the devastation that is caused. Okay, if my producer can just pause it there, you can see people stranded out there waiting for help on the rooftops. Okay, well, to take this conversation forward, I am joined online by Raj Lakshmi Ritesh from New Delhi. Welcome to India Post Live, ma'am. Yeah, I'm also joined online by Rohit Pandita, and I'm also joined online by Sagat Shaunik. Sagat is a research scholar with IIT Bombay. Welcome to India Post Live. Okay, first, can I have Raj Lakshmi, please?
Yes.
Hello, ma'am.
Yes.
Ma'am, you are a journalist, and your husband is Indian Army personnel. So, ma'am, give us a sense. I mean, what you feel? Do you think the Indian Army has been doing so much work, with the rescue relief operations? Do you think, the atmosphere of hostility which has been there between the Kashmiris and the army people? Do you think that it's kind of way, it's coming to an end? Do you think that the atmosphere of hostility is coming to?
Yes, 100%. See, being from forces background and also with some journalistic background, what I see, this is a disaster. It's a human disaster where, a natural calamity which has affected a group of people who happen to have anti-Indian Army view. So this disaster will certainly help to bridge the divide between the Indian Army, who has been, the Kashmiri people who have always been hostile towards Indian Army. So possibly, I'm very sure, that they will rethink and they will have some kind of, this will act as a binding factor, and they can reconfirm their faith in Indian Army as such.
Yeah, I hope we do. I hope they do that too. Okay, let me just get back to Sagat, please. If I can have, hello Sagat, yeah. So we were just talking about, Raj Lakshmi ma'am was just talking about how this, the flood, the people, Kashmiris can see that what Indian Army has been doing for them, rescuing people and saving lives. Do you also agree?
Yes.
Do you also agree with Raj Lakshmi's viewpoint?
Can you please repeat? I have not been able to follow.
Yeah, so we were just been talking about that the army has been carrying a lot of rescue operations in the flood hit Jammu and Kashmir. So do you think that is, the army has done a lot rescuing people in civil? Do you think that it's helping to end the hostility between the Kashmiri people and the Indian Army?
Definitely. But the thing is that the amount of work that has been done, it has to be scaled up, first of all. And while this work is happening, you also need to have certain civil-military relations in terms of how the military interacts with the civil society over there. So having an understanding of how the culture works, the army has been there since a very long time. So I'm sure that they have had an opportunity to interact with the people. And of course, there are incidents which stay counterwise, but I'm sure that the general spirit and likeness towards the army has increased manifold.
So, sir, do you think either the state government and the central government, are they doing enough, for these people who are helpless out there?
See, in a disaster scenario, whatever you do is not enough. So the thing is that there are people whose lives are at stake. They have lost their livelihoods. Their homes have been just washed away. So for them to have an alternative livelihood strategy and a place which is affected by conflict and ethnic struggle and other scenarios, I think it's a very difficult time. And whatever the state or the center does will still not be enough. because in a disaster it just goes manifold, and that is what will suffer for a very long time.
Okay, yeah. Well, if I can have just Rohit. Rohit is well from Jammu. Rohit's family is, believe, they're in Jammu. So Rohit, the area where your family resides, has that area been affected by the floods?
Yeah, it has been, but thing in Jammu is that there's no water is not there. It has been affected in the way that there are landslides and all. In the first initial days, for 2 or 3 days, there was water, but uh, water because it's a hilly area, and if you go to valley, it's a plain area.
So Rohit,
So
you have you have family and friends in Srinagar as well. Give us a sense of, like you must have received a call from them, a distress call, or probably you must have heard from your family. Give us a sense of what's happening, at the ground.
for the first 4-5 days, I was trying to call them, but as you know that phone lines are down and electricity is not there, so people cannot charge their phones at this moment, and mobile connection. I think BSNL and ASL are working now, but else to that, no connection is working out there, and electricity is not there, so it's very hard to get connected with them. And like last night, I got a call from my friend. He was stuck there for 4 days, 5 days, and he was picked up by the army from Governor House. So he got back home after 5 days. So we are getting in touch with people, and Facebook, WhatsApp. These are the only medium we can get in touch with people. And as you were saying, as you were talking to other people about army, thing is a like there's like on social media, the flood issue is not a very big issue. This army relation and Kashmiri relation, like it's going viral. The first thing that I remember was a picture of an army truck in a like stuck in a flood, and someone tweeted that let them die in our land, and let them be buried in our land. And on the reaction to that, there were like thousands of tweets on that tweet, and it got viral. And after this after that tweet, Facebook removed that tweet, and Twitter did that too. So we
Yeah.
can't find that tweet now. But thing is, this is the time you don't have to like look on these issues like army and people relation. Like army is there to help people; they are helping them, but still people are not happy with the army. Like I think I have sent you a phone call. If you can play that call, people are very annoyed with the army, and they are blaming army every now and then.
Yeah, Rohit. Well, as far as the Kashmir flood is concerned, the news has also created a lot of buzz on the internet. But there are some people who are trying to divide, bring a communal aspect to this entire flood. Let's run through you some of the tweets and the Facebook comments that have been doing around on the internet. Well, any Kashmiri flood victim needs emergency mobile recharge. Please message your mobile number. I will do that. Writes Vijay Call. There's distress Kashmiris. Okay, Darshan News writes, no one has ever become poor by giving Anganwadi volunteers in Bihar make food packets for Kashmir floods victims. Clearly, someone's doing so much for these flood victims. Rahil Khurshid writes, my family is struck on the 3rd floor at 20th Government Flats, Jawahar Nagar. No rescue since the last 3 days. Okay, this is a WhatsApp message. Pankaj Rajput writes, staying at MLA hostel near Hotel Broadway, Srinagar. We are here about 400 persons in this hostel along with our family. Water is rising every second. No rescue operation conducted by the government. We are at deathbed. We are praying to God to save our lives. Please help us through this message to pass our message to government so that helicopter services shall be provided for saving the precious lives. Yasir Wani writes on Facebook, Kashmir's worst devastation ever. We have gone at least 20 years back in every respect. And important information, we have opened a medical camp since yesterday at Sanat Nagar, where every drug is available free of cost, from simple paracetamol to life-saving drugs like insulin, anti-diabetic drugs. We have each doctor from all specialists working from early morning to late night. Anyone who needs literally any medical help, please visit our medical camp, non-government, near Sajid Medicates, Sanat Nagar. Clearly someone is sending out message for people to come and who are in distress. Dr. Neelu Goswami writes, Army should stop all rescue operations in Kashmir. There's no point sacrificing their precious lives for the traitors. Well, the tweets that I've been doing around, we just ran through you. Well, a friend of ours, Amir Mughal from Pakistan, he has sent us a video response on this Kashmir floods. Let's listen to what he has to say.
The way Indian Army saved Pakistani Gulf delegation in Kashmir is commendable, and the way Pakistani Army treated the missing Lance Naik from Indian Army, Defence Forces is commendable also. Therefore, the armies of both the countries should emphasis on maintaining a relation which could help both the countries to cope with this disaster.
Yeah, well, Amir Mughal clearly saying that the both countries India and Pakistan must come together to cope up with this disaster. Okay, ma'am, Raj Lakshmi, you've been wanting to make a point. Please go ahead.
Yes, I'll give you Army's perspective. See, Army is doing their duty. See, they have, apart from their Army duty, that they are doing humanitarian duty. That is part of their job. And they don't feel that they are doing any PR exercise or anything. So it has to be taken like that. They are for the rescue of the people. They are for the welfare of the people. They have to look after the safety and security of the people. And the call of the duty demands that when the people are in trouble, they are supposed to help them. And they have forgotten their families. I know many of my friends who are in Jammu, who are in Kashmir, and they have forgotten their families to help other people who don't have so much facility to help themselves. So Army as such is doing their duty to help people out, and they don't want any kind of publicity. They don't want any kind of, and please take, it's highly unfortunate that people, people are saying things about, Kashmir divide and things like that. They are there to help people of Kashmir, and they are bound to do their duty, isn't it?
Yes, ma'am. Yes. The Indian Army is certainly there too. Can I have Sagat Shaunik, please? Yeah. Sagat, so what do you feel? Now you just saw the tweets that have been doing rounds, the Facebook messages. There's clearly a lot of some people are trying to bring the communal aspect, trying to politicize the entire disaster. What do you feel?
Yes.
Yeah, please
of
go
course,
ahead.
that has to happen when there are vested interests. But now, if we see it from a historical perspective, it was the Indian Army in 1947 which established the Kurukshetra refugee relief camp. In 1971, Lucknow floods, it was the Indian Army who restored the area. In any other flood, or be it a tsunami or any other operation, it's always been the military which has responded. And now, if you see it from a state perspective, the NDRF or the state disaster response forces, all of them are just in an infant stage. They don't have junior leadership, they don't have middle level leadership. So who's actually going to have their boots on the ground? It's the military. They have the young officers, they have the junior commissioned officers, they have a senior high command structure which is available to them, and they have all the wherewithal, they have the engineers, they have the infantry, the special forces and the airborne operations. So there is no other state mechanism which can respond to such a disaster at such a scale. In fact, even in Uttarakhand, when we had BSF and CRPF soldiers contributing from their own daily salary to respond to the disaster, the intense magnitude was so high, the contribution of our soldiers in uniform, whether they were military, paramilitary, it just didn't matter. The point was we had to save those men, that's what we did. And in addition to this, now what has happened is women joining the army. We have lady doctors who are now helping out old women, pregnant women, and young women who are more vulnerable to disasters. And in such a scenario, I think such a diverse force from all corners of the country coming in to help at least another fellow citizen. So one should not really look at it as whether we say a Kashmiri, or whether any religion or a Jammuite or any person as that matter. What matters is that a citizen or any human in this world is now submerged, his livelihood is lost. And it does not matter who comes to save him, but the matter is that the life should be secured. And after that, the alternative livelihoods and how we build back the nation. So I think those who are really going to polarize this issue, who are going to divide it on community lines, they are suffering, and our nation at large and global humanity also to actually divide each other on such lines is really pathetic.
Okay, we'll just play the audio which our friend Rohit has been talking about, an audio which he received from one of his friends from Jammu. We'll just play that for you.
Vinyash was bored to Tachusmut Tim Nafran Timokermus help Majmus army. Timusor Timut Paleja Patarmaro. With Mutu Dramusudu, the Pat Rajbak, Tishiman, helicopter, chopper, Vagera. Him identify him, passion put him, change, I got hotel local. Makan. Agar Makan Chilchiniram, brought him identify a hotel. Pati which I am local, non local. First preference him one non local. Mage Mata Malkinas Pons the Pashaspit, Manchan Pai, Rasha, Subsystem Pasipit. Touch in CRP came to Carnatimos Rick that could evacuation game, Martin mentioned to Lankin, Sos, Mam Turboy, Mam, and Nancha Buzargi, the most so had hitting Pasha, the most other 10 portrait Tortmut, Patasmona and his was fine here. Suppose Panet at the CRP are making Tim Curry more evacuate one Nikita.
Rohit, if you could just translate that for us.
Like what he was, I will just give you a gist. He was saying that army is there helping out people, but they are giving preference to people who are not from Kashmir, who are not Kashmiris, especially Kashmiri Muslims. And he was saying that his family is stuck from last 5 days and they are not receiving any help. In this situation, like army has to work in a way that it has to figure out that who is in much terrible condition, and they have to take action on that. So such calls are floating all the way on social media, and people are reacting in, I don't know, like this is not the time to react on such videos, because they are doing their best, they are trying to do their best, and they are the only help people can get at this time. Like people are working there, like they are providing relief in the way of medicines and all, but when it comes to the rescue operation, they have to believe in army, and like they don't like people should not have this blame game thing on Facebook and other social networks. That's it.
So Rohit, are you saying that we should not really listen to what?
We should not provocate it. Like we should like on this video, like on this call, there were like thousands of shares. So if we are going to do such things, like it will have a bad image on army, and Kashmir is a very I can say it's a funny state.
Okay, ma'am. I would just want to get back to Raj Lakshmi on this. So, ma'am, you just heard a Kashmiri man saying that the army is not helping the Kashmiri Muslims. They're only helping the others. And such videos, such audios are being circulated in the internet with people sharing it. So do you think
Yes.
Yeah, please go ahead.
Yeah, it's highly unfortunate, people thinking in this manner. But army as such, they are above caste, creed, or religious level. Even being part of the family, I don't think ever we discriminate anyone on religious grounds or any caste or creed grounds. So I think thinking this way, and the kind of the gap the kind of has been between the Kashmiris and rest of the Indians. I mean, this kind of things are bound to happen. These thoughts are bound to come up. But then we have to ignore all this. And at this point of calamity, at this kind of the kind of devastation Kashmir has seen, what I feel that everyone, each one of us, each Indian should unite and try to help them to rehabilitate and again rebuild their state, because after all, I mean, somewhere down the corner, even a Keralite feels that Kashmir is a part of India, a part of behind being apart from being India, it is humanitarian. I think on humanitarian grounds also, I think each one of us sitting in Delhi also feel feel about Kashmir and feel about every the kind of disaster they are facing, isn't it?
Yes, ma'am. Yes.
The time being, we must ignore all this. I think it is bound to happen.
Yeah, we must ignore all this and come together as a nation to help the people in distress. Okay, can I have Sagat please back? Sagat, you also come from army background, right?
Yes, my father was from the army.
Yeah. So Sagat, there are two things. One hand, people are saying that the flood, the way the army is helping, it is kind of in a way bridging the gap between the Kashmiris and the army. But there's again another section which is saying that the army is not helping the Kashmiris, and there's anger out there on the street. There are reports that people are pelting stones again at these army personals, and even these officials are even scared to go out in their uniforms. They are going in their civil, so because they're scared that the people might attack them.
As far as pelting stones and other unfortunate incidents are concerned, I think there is a need for a greater role of the civil administration in such matters, whereby they have now deployed CRPF to protect our response agencies. But I think rather than doing that, there's a need to reach out to the village leaders and to say that here our boys are here with the purpose to rescue you people. So why are you harming our response teams? And if I just bring back my experience from the response to Uttarakhand last year, there were many of the villages which we entered into, and over there, the villagers came to us with tears in their eyes that we were the first people who actually reached out to them. So it is not possible for the army or anyone to, in such a short span, to reach every location and to say that we're saving one person or the other. That would actually be very difficult to verify. The second thing is, even if people are being saved, there's universal law of triage in which the most needy will be saved. So it is not that you're dividing someone across a community-based line. Rather, it's the most needy person who, as per the military or any response agency, will determine and save as per the need. So I don't think there's any scope to say that one person is being saved or preferred over the other on any other basis grounds except for medical reasons, probably.
Okay, thank you, Saga. Thank you so much out there. Okay, well, we will also play this video for you, the video by Hindsight's Bite. Hindsight, as we all know, it's the mastermind of 2611. He is clearly blaming the Indian government for the floods in the Pakistan. Just take a look.
मोदी ने जो आज़ाद कश्मीर में पेशकश की है या पाकिस्तान के बाकी इलाकों में मदद की पेशकश की है, मैं कहता हूँ ये सरियन मजाक है। यानी पानी छोड़ा किसने? मोदी इस बात को अगर पाकिस्तान के अवाम के दिल जीतने की कोशिश कर रहा है तो हमारा ये फर्ज है कि हम इस बात को भी वाजे करें कि ये सारी तबाही आई इंडिया की तरफ से रही है, इसका जिम्मेदार इंडिया।
Well, Hafid said, clearly blaming the Indian government for that. Well, we've almost come to the end of our show. I would request my guests to, before I wrap up the show, your last comments and thoughts on this issue. So, Sagat, please go ahead.
Yeah, all I can say is that I pray that people's lives are saved faster and the livelihoods are built back better. And I pray for the regiments and the teams on ground who have to go through all this traumatic stress while recovering so many bodies. Also, I just have my best wishes to all the teams on ground and to the communication within the departments that how things are sorted out faster. And I just pray that this situation improves for the better much faster, much faster.
Thank you, Saga. Thank you so much for joining us on India Post Live. Raj Lakshmi, ma'am, please, your last thoughts and comments.
what I can say, I'll repeat my words again. See, it's a disaster which has struck thousands of people, lakhs of people, and we must unite as India. Everyone from the country should try and help them in whatever little way they can, so they can rebuild their lives. And army, whatever they are doing, they'll continue doing that. But to rehabilitate them after the floods is what is the next step. So we all must unite to help them to rebuild their lives.
Okay, thank you, ma'am. Thank you so much for joining us in India Post Live. Rohit?
About Hafiz Saeed, what he said, like it was bound to come after we built Bagliahar Dam. Every time there's water in Pakistan, they blame us. And about the present flood, I just pray for the people over there, and I want to appeal people from Jammu, like because they are the people in Kashmir, they are carried to Jammu with the help of army. So I just want to make an appeal to people of Jammu to receive their friends from Kashmir with open hearts.
Okay, Rohit, thank you so much. Thank you so much for joining us in India Post Live. Well, before I wrap up this show, let's take a look at some of these pictures which our viewers have sent to us. People helping out there, rescuing the distressed people out there. Okay, that's the volunteers who've been helping the victims out there. Well, that's all I have for you on this show. The conversation, however, does not end here. The conversation continues on India Post Live. Do send us your feedback and comments on www.indiapostlive.com. You can also tweet us to #IndiaPostLive or @IndiaPostLive. You can also go to our Facebook comment page and leave your comment there. Thank you for watching the show.